Hi friends, this is Divek. So in this video, I will be introducing you to Robocop, which is actually a open source RPA tool. So these are the topics that I am going to discuss in this video. First is introduction to Robocop, like what is Robocop and what are the products of the Robocop that we use in our automation process. And next, I will develop a simple automation process using Robocop Lab so that you can understand actually how Robocop works. So let's start. So first let's start with what is Robocop. So Robocop is actually a open source RPA tool, and the main feature of Robocop is that it is based on the Python programming language. If I say more specifically, it is built on the top of robot framework which is used for testing purposes. So let's discuss the Robocop products one by one. First, the developer tools. So developer tools are the tools which actually helps to write the automation script. So these are the different kinds of developer tool available. First is Robocop Lab Integrated Development Environment. So this is the like it is a integrated development environment which is provided by Robocop for writing automation script, and its interface is almost similar to Jupyter Notebook. And also you can write your automation script in popular IDs like Visual Studio Code and PyCharm by downloading some plugins or extensions. And also there is another developer tool which is known as Robocop Recorder, which is actually an extension in the Chrome, and it actually helps to record some basic web automation and helps to develop a automation script automatically by by observing the actions. So in this video and in all my tutorials, I will follow the Robocop Lab IDE because it is very easier to use. So next is Robocop Cloud. So Robocop Cloud is a place where you can orchestrate or you can manage, monitor and control your robots in a real-time environment. And using the Robocop Cloud, you can able to run your process or you can run your robot, and you can schedule your robot so that your robot can run in a specific period of time. And also using Robocop Cloud, you can store your credential data in the vault feature that can be utilized by your robot for logging into an application or to a web portal something. And there are a lot of other features that can be utilized from the Robocop Cloud that we will see later. So let's start with building a simple automation in the Robocop lab so that you can understand how Robocop actually works. So prior to that, I will show you how you can download the Robocop lab. For downloading the Robocop lab, first you have to go to their official website robocop.com, and after going to the robocop.com, you have to click on Get Started button. So when you click on Get Started button, you can see the options which are available for downloading the robot. Either you can download the VS Code extension which enable you to write the automation script in VS Code editor, or you can download the Robocop Lab ID, which is I am preferring because it is very easier to use, or you can use RCC command line. So in my videos, I will be using Robocop Lab IDE to develop the automation script. So for downloading the Robocop Lab IDE, you can select the Robocop Lab IDE option and you can choose for which operating system you need to download, whether you need to download for Mac, Linux or Windows. And then you click on the download button and your Robocop Lab will be downloaded, and you have to do some installation procedures. And for the installation procedure, I will provide you another video link, and this link you can find in my YouTube video description. You can refer that video for the installation instruction for the Robocop Lab IDE. So let's start with building a simple automation in the Robocop Lab. So for that, we have to create a robot in the Robocop Lab. For that, we have to click on this Robocop Lab. So the Robocop Lab will open. Now to create a new robot, we have to click on Create New Robot. So we have to give a name for the robot. Let's say we can give the name login underscore bot, and we can select the template. In this case, we can select the standard template. Then we can click on Create Robot. You can see the robot is being created. It will take some time. Let's wait for that. You can see that we are able to create our first robot. And when you are creating this robot, the Robocop will create some default files. You can see the three default files in the section: conda.yaml, robot.yaml, and task.robot. These are some of the default files that are created by Robocop. So let's explore these three files one by one. First is robot.yaml. So robot.yaml is actually the configuration file for a Robocop. So it actually includes the commands which has to be run when our robot is being executing, and also it defines the default location for conda config file, etc. So it is actually the configuration file for our robot. And next is conda.yaml file. So conda.yaml file is the file where you can define your packages. Defaultly, there is Python and RPA framework packages being found in this conda.yaml file. And if you are using a custom library, so to run that custom library in your robot, you have to specify the packages which has been used in that particular library. Okay, so this is about conda.yaml file. And next is task.robot. So task.robot is the file where you are writing your automation script. And as you can see, its interface is almost similar to a Jupyter notebook. And you can see the cells. Okay, you can see the individual cells, setting cells, task cells. And you can see if you want to run your robot each cells individually, you can use this option, or you can press shift plus enter. Or if you want to run all your cells, you can click on this option to run all your cells. So now we can explore these two different cells one by one. First is setting cells. So this is a setting cells where you are defining your libraries, your documentation, everything. As you can see, when you are creating your robot, the Robocop actually created default documentation for this template robot main suite. You can define the documentation of your robot in this documentation section under setting cells. Okay, and in addition to typing the documentation, you can also specify the libraries which are need to import for your automation, because this Robocop actually works on the keyword concepts. Like there are certain keywords which actually helps to automate a particular process. If you click on this keyword explorer, you can able to get a list of all the keywords which actually helps to automate a particular process. For example, if you need to open a particular website, you can use this keyword: open available browser. Okay, so this is a keyword which is used for opening a particular URL. Okay, and for using this type of keyword, you have to import this rpa.browser file. So to utilize this keyword, you have to import this rpa.browser file. So you have to specify that library in this settings. Okay, so but there are certain keywords which does not require any library import, like this log keyword, as you can see here. So this log keyword is actually a built-in library here. So you don't have to define any external library here. And next, we can discuss about task cells. So task cell is the cell where you're defining your task. For example, if I explain an automation scenario like you want to log in, you want to open a website and you want to log into that particular website. So your task is you need to open and log to that website. And to do that particular automation process, there are certain steps. The steps actually you are writing in this task set. So for the default purpose, the Robocop actually had used a log keyword to write the to log the keyword done. So that is actually a task actually being provided here as a default option. So if you run this robot, you can see what actually is happening. So let me run this robot. So when you run this robot, can see a log file is generated, which actually show the what actually happened with all the keywords, everything. Okay, so you can see the task actually have been done is logging a word done using this log keyword, and it has been done successfully, as you can see here. So this is actually a log file which actually show about the how our automation is being running, and it is very useful when there is any error being happen, etc. So this is a small automation that we have done using Robocop. Now we can explain our automation process that we are going to develop in the Robocop lab. So the automation process is very simple. What we have to do is we have to go to this Robo Spare Bin Industries Inc website. This website, we have to go to this website and we have to log into this particular application using the username and password. So the username and password are already been provided here. Username is Maria and password is this. Password is already provided here. You can copy paste this password. Okay. So password is being provided here, and you can click on login. A simple automation process. So doing this automation actually helps to give you a basic understanding of how actually Robocop works. It's actually very different. So let's start building our robot. So first, building prior to building our robot or prior to coding, we have to think of the task that has to be done by the robot or the steps that has to be done by the robot. Actually, I can write it in a notepad first. What are the tasks that has to be done by the robot? Just write in notepad. So the first task is like it has to open the website. Is it right? Yes. It has to open the website. Then it has to log. It has to what it has to do. It has to enter the username and password and click login. Sorry, and it has to click on login. So these are the two steps that has to be done for this automation process, and these are the steps that is coming under the task section. So the first task is you need to open the website. Second is you have to log to that particular application by typing the username and password. So these are the two steps coming under the task. So you can rewrite your documentation like log to website, and you can give your task a name also, log to um, log to robot spare bin website. Okay, so this is your task actually. So main aim of your automation process. So under this log to robot spare bin website, you have to define your steps how you can achieve this automation process. So the first step is what you have to open that website. You can just simply specify that keyword here. So while specifying the step, you have to specify after four spaces. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. The space actually matter. You have to specify your first step is what? Open the website. On the website. So actually these steps that you are writing here is actually a kind of keyword. You are actually being we are actually being writing here. It is actually a kind of keyword. And as you can see, when you write this open the website, there's a red line being shown here, and it says that it is actually an undefined keyword because we hadn't seen this because this robot framework cannot able to identify what is actually this keyword do because we didn't provide any functionality to this keyword actually now. It's just a blank keyword. We didn't provide any functionality. Actually, remember this keyword is something similar to function in the Python. So when you are defining a function, you have to provide what the function can do. Let's say if you want to add two numbers, just defining the function name add will does not make the Python program to add the two numbers. You have to provide some like define this number, this function, and you have to provide the operator for that it can add these two numbers. So similarly, Just by defining the open the website keyword does not make the robot do to open that URL. You have to provide something in it. Okay. So for that, what you can do is you can write another cell. For that, just click on this plus button and you can create a cell that is known as keyword cell. So under this keyword cell, you will define what this open the website will do. For that, copy this name here. Okay. So this is the keyword that we need to, like, we have to add some functionality to this keyword. So for that, we have to, like, inside this particular keyword we have to, like, invoke another keyword mostly. So we have to invoke another keyword. So for writing that keyword we have to provide four spaces. One, two, three, four. Okay. Then you have to search for that particular keyword. Like for opening the browser, you can utilize which keyword? Open available browser keyword. But for using the open available browser keyword, you have to import the rpa.browser library, because in that library only this open available browser contains. So that first you have to import the rpa.browser library. Let me import the rpa.browser library. So rpa.browser. Okay. So automatically it will import the rpa.browser library. Now you have to specify that keyword, that is open available browser. You can directly copy it from here. Okay. So just specifying open available browser does not make the robot to which website it should open. We should also specify the website URL also to make the robot to make know that it has to open this website. Okay. So we have to provide the URL as an argument to this keyword. For providing any argument to this any keyword, you have to provide only after two spaces. Like after two spaces from this keyword, you have to provide the argument. So one, two, you have to provide the URL here. So the URL for that particular website is this. Okay. So just specify open available browser this website. So now what a robot will do, it will actually open this website. So now you can see that this red line has gone. Now you can see that our robot knows when it comes to this open the website keyword, it automatically invokes this keyword, which will actually open the browser. So robot can clearly know that. Actually, that is why this red line has gone. So just we can run it and see what actually happens. So let me click on this run all cell option, click on restart. So now you can see that yeah, you can see that it is opening that particular website. So yeah, now you can see that it actually opened the Robot Spare Bin Industries website. So that's all. Okay. So after opening the website, so the next step is what? We have to log to this particular application by providing the username and password and click on login. So this is our next step, or you can say login to the application is our next step in this task set. You have to provide in the task cell. So in the task cell, the next step is what? You have to log to the website. So log to the website. This is our next step under the task log to the robot spare bin website. So as you can see previously what we have seen for the open the website, we have seen a red mark here or red line here, which actually indicate that it is actually an undefined keyword. The reason why it is an undefined keyword is it is actually a custom keyword that is being developed by us. We didn't have added any functionality or we hadn't defined it. Okay, so we have to define it or we have to add some functionality to that keyword so that it can able to log to that particular application. So for that, similar to what we have done for this open the website, we can do the similar operation here. So first create a cell and then select keywords so that this cell will be creating the keyword. So we can provide the name of the keyword as this. Okay, and now we have to add some functionalities to this log to the website. So log to the website means we have to input the username, we have to input the password, we have to click on the log button. Okay, to log to the website. So for inputting the username, that is for inputting the username here, we have to use a keyword called input text, which is coming under rpa.browser library. So let's search in this keyword explorer. So if you need to know any keyword details, you can just search in the keyword explorer. It is a very helpful tool. So let me just type input text. So this is actually coming under rpa.browser library. If you click on it, you can get the documentation about it. Like it will actually type the given text into a specified UI element, which is actually specified by its locator. And there are other arguments also, but we can follow the basic one. So what does this input text will do? The input text will input that particular data to that particular text field, which is identified by its locator. So locator means how you can identify that particular UI element. You can identify the UI element by its class attribute or by its ID or by using its expert. In three ways you can identify the UI element, but it should be able to identify it every time. That's only the condition. So we have to input what? The username. For that we can use what? Input text. Let me just copy this one here. And for writing a keyword, we have to follow a we have to write it after 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now what we have to provide? Next, we have to provide the locator. So locator is what? How you can identify this username text field. So you can either provide the ID or class or expert. That's your choice. So let's for getting the attribute or list of attribute for this username text field. You can just click on this text field and then click on right click and then select inspect option. Now just click on this option username field again and then click on inspect. Now you can see the attributes. When you just indicate it here, you can see that it is indicating this username text field. You can see that like its name, like different attributes, ID, name, like type, etc. So better you can provide the ID as locator. Okay. So just let me copy this here. Sorry. Just copy this username, this ID value, and input text. You just provide 2 spaces for writing an argument. 1, 2. Then provide the locator ID as its value as username. Next, what you have to provide? You have to provide what text you have to pass to that username text field. You have to pass the username, so which is nothing than Maria. So while writing the argument, also you have to follow. You need to write the argument only after 2 spaces. So Maria. So you have to input the text into that element username, and that username is what? Maria. Next, what you need to do, similarly what we have done for inputting the username, you can input the password also. For inputting the password, there is also a special keyword provided by the rpa.browser library, that is input password keyword, as you can see here. So it will input the password. Okay, so you can use that input password for inputting the password here. Let me copy this one, input password. And now it has a similar feature of the input text, but it will add the password in a secure string format. So next what we have to do, we have to pass the locator. So similarly what you have to do, you just have to click on this password text field. You just click on inspect. Now you can see the attributes defined for this password input field. You can take the ID as the locator to identify this password field. So we just you have to input the argument two spaces, each at two spaces, 1 2 id. Now next provide next two spaces to add the password. So for adding the password, already the password is being provided here, you can see. Just copy it. Now just provide it here. Okay, so after entering the username and password, uh, you have to click on the login button to log to that particular application. So for clicking that log button, there are different options. You can use this option, click button, which is already coming under RPA.browser library. You can use this one. So if you click on this click button, you can find this documentation. You will actually click the button identify by its locator. Okay, so you have to only provide the locator argument only. That you can click that particular button. So locator can be ID or name or value, anything you can provide. Also XPath also you can provide. So let me just copy this keyword and paste it here. So now you have to provide the locator. So similarly, what you have done for username and password, just right click on this login button and click on inspect. Now you can select this class as the locator here. So just copy this one and provide class. So you can just remove this one because only we need the value of the class attribute. Okay, let's save this. Now we can see that our log2 website has been a defined keyword, because earlier when we are typing it, we can see that there was a red line which actually indicate that it was an undefined keyword. Now we had defined it using the under the keyword cells. Okay, so now just let's run this robot to see how it works. Let's see. So let me click on this restart to run the workflow. I think there is some error had happened. Let me check. I think it is not able to identify this class attribute. So better what you can do is you can provide the XPath. We provide the XPath here. So let me just right click on this button and you can write a XPath for this login button. So just let me click on it. And then for writing an XPath, you can just let me write an XPath for this button type equal to submit. Okay, let me just instead of class I can provide button and submit. And now let's see again whether it runs or not. So you can see that whenever an error happened, it also provide a screenshot where you have got the error. And if you need to get more details about the error, you can follow this log file, which actually helps to identify where the error had happened. You can see with the detail of that particular error. You can see as for our case, we have got error at this keyword. You can see it is marked as red. And the green one marked means they are all success keywords, but the red one marked means they failed keyword. So also the detail of this exception will be also provided here. Clicking button, you can see this element is not fine. You can see. You can see this is the exception reason also. You can find it here. So you can easily correct your errors in the code while developing. So this is another advantage that is provided by Robocop. So let me just run it again to see whether it works or not. Let me click on restart button again. Let me see. Yes, it's successful. You see that the robot was able to log to this particular website successfully. So this is how you can develop a automation. I think you got an idea how actually Robocop works. Just think when you're just think related with Python. Like whatever we do in Python, same thing we are doing in this Robocop lab. Like we are defining some keywords and then we are utilizing that keywords to run automation. And also you can, without writing these open the website and log to the website custom keywords, you can directly write this open available browser and these data directly without define these keywords separately. But why we are writing like this? It is actually good practice. For example, in some cases the task may be very large. Let's say if you have some steps like data entry operation, if you write all these tasks here, what happen is sometimes it may be very difficult to maintain it. If error happen, it's very difficult. So for a cleaned way of writing, we are following this approach, like defining keyword cells and then invoking that keyword cell in the task cell, so that it may be very good to look. Now you see it's very good to look and easy to identify what actually is happening, everything. So that is why we are actually following this approach instead of writing all the keyword in the directly in the task. If you write it, it will work, but it will not a good practice, because also it may sometime when it is a very large automation, you may find it difficult or not, like not, it may be not in a structured format or in a good format, so that you can't able to read it by writing the code like this, like in a keyword based cell and then invoking in the task cell, it will be very easy to read and also easy to maintain. That's the advantage. Okay, so by this we had able to develop a simple automation using Robocop, and now I think you have got an idea of how Robocop works. So if you like this video, please subscribe for more updates and please also like this video. And thank you.